Hello, everyone. Welcome into an all-new edition of the Sports Stove Football Show's NFL Draft Show. That's right, man. That's a lot of words in one title. We've been running through the different draft needs throughout the last several episodes, looking at which teams need which positions in the 2026 NFL Draft. And today we are talking all about the offensive line. So we're going to look at tackles, guards, and center who has needs at those spots that may consider using an early pick in the 2026 NFL Draft on the offensive line. Today's episode is presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15 to get a nice 15% discount at checkout. I highly encourage you checking out the bootleg and barbecue. It is my favorite flavor they have to offer. The Soul Survivor, the Teriyaki Balboa are incredibly good. The Bourbon Franklin's very good too. Some great flavors there at righteousfelon.com. Again, use that promo code STOVE15 at checkout for 15% off your purchase. All right, we're looking at the offensive line today. We're going to look at tackles, and then we'll look at interior linemen as well. Which teams could be spending an early pick on an offensive tackle? Well, they're really in the NFL. When you look at the slate of teams, it's easier to tell you who doesn't need an offensive tackle versus who does need an offensive tackle. But we do have some teams that could be targeting those early on. And so let's take a look at those teams. The Cleveland Browns, listen, they got a lot of things to figure out. They have their running backs pretty well figured out, I think. The defense is solid. So now they got to figure out quarterback. They've got to figure out wide receiver, and they've got to figure out the offensive line. And so offensive tackle is going to be a need for them without a shadow of a doubt. Las Vegas Raiders, you got to put them in that category. They also have to figure out quarterback. They also have to figure out wide receiver. But they got to figure out offensive line to go with it. Offensive tackle is a great need there. Arizona, they got one tackle taken care of. They got to get the other side covered. But again, another team that needs a quarterback because it looks like they're moving on from Kyler Murray. And I'm telling you, you see the trend here? Teams that need quarterbacks also need tackles. It's very rare that you have your tackle and your quarterback, that you don't have a tackle and your quarterback's fine. Like if you've got what you need on the offensive line, your quarterback's going to play better than if you don't have what you need on the offensive line. So Arizona, Tennessee has all kinds of needs, but young quarterbacks in place. So let's make sure we get that offensive line taken care of. And the New York Football Giants, that's the other team that you really got to look at right now. They've got again, one tackle's fine. They got to figure some stuff out there. They've got to get the rest of the line taken care of. But those are the 5 teams that I think you're going to look at early on. Now, the Giants, I think they need to go receiver with their first overall pick, but maybe they go lineman. Titans, depending on where they land, could they trade back a little bit and then be in the prime spot for an offensive tackle with their first overall pick? Possibly. Arizona could be in a great spot draft-wise to pick a tackle. Las Vegas is going to be really high up there. There's not a tackle that you can take in the top 2. I don't think there's a tackle you should take in the top 5. And then it's going to get a little tricky from there, right? I think 7, 8, 9 is the right spot for the first tackle to come off the board. So Cleveland, Vegas, they're up high, all that kind of stuff. So who are the tackles we're looking at? Spencer Fano, he'd be a right tackle. Caden Proctor right now is not going to be, well, I've heard some say that you should expect him to be in the top 15. Is he going to have the tape that tells you he should be a top 15 pick? No. Does he have all the skill sets that say if he hits his peak, he's going to be a top tackle in the league? Yes. So you're playing off of traits versus production. How is that going to go? I like Proctor, but where does he go in the draft is an interesting one for sure. Francis Mauigoa from Miami, I like him. Maybe the best of all the tackles at the moment. Fano's ranked higher by most people, if not all people. But Mauigoa is a guy that I'm intrigued by at Miami. I think he could be the best one in the class. I love Jennings Dunker out of Iowa, Isaiah World out of Oregon, Caleb Lomu out of Utah, the other Utah tackle. He's going to get moved. I think he's going to move up boards. I don't know that he's going to move up my board. I still see him as a first-round talent. But where he goes from there. So those are the kind of guys you're looking at up high. You're looking at Fano, Maui Noah from Miami. Those are the two probably you're looking at in the top 12 maybe picks. Then where does Proctor fall? Some people are going to love Isaiah World. Some people won't. Jennings Dunker is going to be just a classic mid-20s Pittsburgh Steeler, that kind of mindset guy there. I love Jennings Dunker. I'm a Packer fan. Would love to see the Packers land Jennings Dunker in the first round. So those are the guys you're looking at there. Many teams need it. Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, the Chargers. The Chargers have addressed it. They have done things. They've had injuries. They've had other things happen. Chargers, put in that category. The Vikings, the Saints, the Patriots, the Packers, the Texans, the Jets, the Rams, the Falcons, the Lions, the 49ers, the Steelers, the Cowboys. There are a lot of people who could use a tackle. How many of them will take them in the first round? I think you're looking at 4 offensive tackles in the first round at the moment. Now, we got to get through all the process, through the combine and all those, the pro days and all those kinds of things. But at the moment, I'm seeing 4 guys going. Fano, Maui Noah, Proctor are the 3 for sure. And then a mixture of whether it's Dunker, World, or Lomu are the other ones that I see falling into that category. Blake Miller's a name to watch from Clemson. Incredible career at Clemson. All kinds of experience at Clemson. This is a guy that as the tapes begin to roll and as we go through the process, Blake Miller's one to keep an eye on. Could his name rise into the first round? I have him as a second-round grade right now, but I could see him rising through this process as well. So Browns, Raiders, Cardinals, Titans, Giants are the teams to watch for offensive tackle in the first round, and then a million other teams in the second round to watch for. Now let's jump over to the inside of the offensive line, the interior linemen at guards and centers from there. Olivega Ione from Penn State is the name to watch at guard. Probably the only guard that's a first-round grade. He is the only one in my book that's a first-round grade. Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon is the other name to watch. See if he rises. Then at center, there's a few. Connor Liu out of Auburn. Jake Slaughter can play center or guard in the NFL. Parker Brailsford from Alabama, Charles Jagusa from Notre Dame. There are some names to watch, but I see Ione as the only for sure first-round talent here and on the inside. Now, free agent-wise, there's actually a market here at free agent. I didn't do this with the tackles. I guess I should have. Free agent tackles real quick. Rasheed Walker from Green Bay, Braden Smith, Cam Robinson, Kelvin Beachum, who's old. I wouldn't do that. DJ Humphries, Jonah Williams, names to watch for in the free agent market. At guard, Wyatt Teller, Evan Neal, Elijah Vera Tucker, Robert Jones, Cole Van Lannen, Trevor Penning, Dylan Raduntz, and David Edwards, all names to watch there. There's some centers out there, Tyler Linderbaum, Cade Mays, Luke Fortner, Austin Corbett. There's guys available in the free agent market. They will get signed. So who is going to focus early in the draft on offensive line? Well, let's go back to a few names we've already talked about. Browns, Giants, Cardinals. Again, where they're picking, I don't see it being guard. I see that being tackle in the first round, maybe addressing guard in the second round, depending on who all is there. Then you're looking at other teams. Houston, who has to figure out the offensive line. Cincinnati, who has to figure out the offensive line. Detroit, with retirements and the guys aging, a team to watch on the interior offensive line. And then Tennessee, also drafting high. I guess I should have mentioned them earlier with the other group, are teams to watch. So Browns, Giants, Titans, early in the draft, too early for our first round guard, right? So you're looking at them early second round. Texans, Cardinals, Bengals, Lions. When you're looking at Olivega Ione from Penn State, that's what I'm looking at. Those teams right there. The Lions, boy, listen, if he falls to Detroit's missing the playoffs. They're going to be late teens here. This is a team that if they can land him, boy, howdy, does that help their offensive line and give them such great strength there. I love the fit for Detroit there for Ione. Cincinnati has so many needs. They're drafting pretty high. I think, well, they're winning some games now, so maybe they won't end up being too high for Ione. Maybe he's there as well also. So, and the Texans, they've just got to figure it out. Like, there's just they're so close. The defense is so good, and their offense is figuring some things out. They've got to be able to protect C.J. Stroud from there. Centers, teams that need centers. Carolina Panthers. Panthers they're okay at guard. The Carolina fans tell me they're great at guard. They're not. They're okay at guard. They're good at guard. They're average to above average at guard. Can one of those guys slide over to this play center and I only play guard and you completely solidify the middle of your offensive line? Or do you wait till the second round and go center in the second round with a Connor Lew? Do you go out in free agency and find someone? Do you re-sign your own guy in free agency? We'll see. But Carolina has to secure that offensive line and centers where they have that gap. Denver is another team that has a gap there at center where they're picking. You could grab a center late in the first round. It's probably a little too rich there because I don't have a first round center. Connor Lew, close, but not there. Minnesota, they've got lots of needs. They need to figure out their quarterback situation. As I've been saying, from the moment they drafted J.J. McCarthy, he was not the answer. People are starting to understand why, but Minnesota needs a center. San Francisco, another team, aging a little bit, some different needs, of course, but that center position could be solidified there for San Francisco. Just like the offensive tackle, you cannot find a team in the NFL who does not need more offensive linemen. So in the interior, I've got I don't even know how to count that high. That's 20. I got about 26 teams that I have listed as needing interior offensive linemen out of the 32 in the NFL. So those guys are going to get picked, but who's going to get them early? I think you're looking at Houston, Arizona, Cincinnati, and Detroit as first-round guys going for offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen. And then watch these teams like San Francisco and Denver maybe snagging a center there at the end of round number 1 as well. Share your thoughts. This is not the sexiest of positions, right? Offensive line, we've learned to respect the offensive tackle. And the Kelce's, having Jason Kelce there gives a little bit of limelight to the centers. It's kind of like what Pat McAfee has done for punters. It makes you recognize them a little bit, but it's just not the sexiest of picks out there for sure. But there are so many teams that need offensive linemen. Does your team need an offensive lineman? I'm a Packer fan. I think the Packers need a new starting right guard and possibly a new starting left tackle as Rasheed Walker's a free agent. So I'd love to see the Packers take an O-lineman in round 1. What do you think? Do you like it when your team takes O-line in the first round? Or would you rather them wait and take them later or go in the free agent market, whatever it may be? Share your thoughts and comments on the Sports Stove YouTube of this video or on social media at Sports Stove on Twitter or Instagram. Let me know your thoughts on offensive linemen. What's your strategy? What do you want your team strategy to be going in this? Did I mention your team and you say there's no way they need that? Or did I not mention your team? You say, how did you not bring these guys up? Feel free to leave some comments and let me know as well. We are continuing through these position needs, and we're going to get into the defensive side of the ball next. We've done all the offensive side, so now we transition to the defensive side in the coming episodes. But if you missed the tight end episode, the wide receiver, the running back, the quarterback episodes, make sure you go back and check them out. Best way you can do that, YouTube, the Sports Stove Media YouTube channel. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. We sure appreciate your support there. If you're rather the audio version, the Sports Stove Football Show podcast has all of these episodes on there. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget about Righteous Felon Jerky. A great way to watch or listen to this show is with a snack in hand, and the best snack you can have is Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. The promo code is STOVE15 to get 15% off your purchase. All right, thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Sports Stove Draft Show. We sure can't wait to see you again very, very soon. By the way, as soon as the declaration date passes in January, we will go through all of our rankings again, update them all, and get you ready for the draft with those rankings. But we're waiting till everyone declares so that we're not talking about people who are not in the draft. So there you go. Some more information coming down the road from there. All right, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a great holiday week with Christmas and New Year's and getting ready for 2026 as well. We'll be back shortly with the episodes starting with the defensive line needs for the draft. And here's some outro.